Good evening. We'll do that again. Good evening. This is the September 24th, 2014 meeting of the Lowell Conservation Commission. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item on tonight's agenda is a request for a certificate of compliance continued from prior meeting. Michael Gittin, concerning DEP file number 2060721. Project location is 576 Lawrence Street. And by email, we have a request to continue. Do I have a motion to continue at the request of the proponent?
I make a motion to continue.
By Commissioner Lynch, seconded by Commissioner Varnum. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. So if you're here for that meeting tonight, again, that's 576 Lawrence Street, a certificate of compliance. That will be continued to the October 8th, 2014 meeting. That's our next scheduled meeting. Second item on tonight's agenda is a request for determination of applicability. Michael Marion, project location is 75 Martin Street, and it's to repave the existing driveway at 75 Martin Street. Yes, sir. If you could approach the podium and let us know what and identify yourself for the record, please.
My name is Michael Marion. The intent is to remove and replace existing pavement at 75 Martin Street.
All right. The issue, as you know, that we're concerned with is that your property, and I'm assuming this is your property?
My parents' property.
Okay. The property is entirely within the 100-year floodplain.
Yes.
So the regulations and the law require that any time you're bringing fill in, and I'm assuming you're bringing new pavement in?
We're not bringing anything new other than removing the old pavement and replacing it with new pavement.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. The way the act is written, it doesn't matter what you're taking out.
Okay.
If you bring anything in, then you have to file. But,
Right.
And there's a little bit of discretion now with repaving, okay, or maintenance type projects, and this is where it's particular. We as a commission have to be satisfied for a couple of things. One is that you're not increasing the existing footprint of the driveway at all. You can reduce it, you can't increase it. Correct. The second thing is you can't raise the elevation of the driveway at any point.
Correct.
Okay, so you would need to stake it out, or the contractor that's doing the work would need to stake it out and mark the elevations as they exist now, prior to them removing the existing driveway. And the new materials that are brought in must be at or below the grade that's there now. The third thing is that you can't change the topography of the driveway. And what I mean by that is you can't change the slope of the driveway.
Correct, the pitch
So if
of the
it's
slope.
sloping away from the street or sloping away from your neighbor's property, you have to maintain those slopes, even if it's disadvantageous to you.
Yep.
Okay? Even if it's like collecting water near the house or something like that, you have to explore some other method to control those waters. You can't change the grade of the driveway to do that.
There's no intention to do so.
Yeah, okay. I know it's very flat out there, but
Well, yes, it is.
there is a little bit of slope. Yeah.
There is a pitch to the front part of the driveway. There's a picture in front. You should have a picture of that, of the house. And as far as staking out the existing level, the pavement rides against two foundations on both sides and also meets a sidewalk that borders the rest of it. So that is the height now. And when the old pavement is removed, you will have, for lack of a better term, watermarks on the foundations, where the new pavement will go exactly the same thing.
Right. Well, it's not just the foundation, it's all the way as it runs up to the road, too.
Right, up to the road. The house has a cement sidewalk coming to the road, and the pavement borders that, which controls the height.
Right.
And that won't change.
Right. So for me, satisfy me is that you stay in close, and there'll be questions from the commissioners too, but that you stay in close contact with the office, and prior to the contractor, the paving contractor, excavating the existing driveway, that we have to be satisfied that it's been staked out and the elevations
Okay.
are staked out properly, and that's observed by someone in our office.
That's not a problem.
Okay, and that those stakes they're permanent as far as the paving project goes. They can come out once you've put in the new pavement. But the other thing too is, and I'm assuming it's a concrete pad right now?
No, it's hot top.
It's hot top now?
It is.
And are they gonna grind it up on site and reuse it, or are they
Gonna haul it
completely
away.
removing it?
They're moving it away.
Okay, so what you're going to need to do, I don't know who's doing it, but I know Brock's is one of the major,
This is a small job. Jack Waslack Construction is doing it.
okay. Well, I don't mean Brock's is doing it, but
Oh,
they're,
Brock's hot top, you mean?
yeah, they're one of the major suppliers around here, so your contractor may be going through them.
Right.
And what they do is they weigh the trucks, before and after. That's how they figure out, how much to charge.
Right.
But what we'd also need to see is the bills of lading for the vehicles that remove the existing driveway and the ones that bring in, to make sure that the volume
It's the same.
isn't greater. Right.
Okay.
So this is as you know, that whole area was under multiple feet of water twice in the last,
Yeah, absolutely.
in
I'm
the
all
last
aware of
12 years, so,
it. Yeah.
okay, last decade, so. And those are only my concerns. Now, this is here on an RDA, and if we can be satisfied that this work can be done without raising the elevations at all and maintaining the existing topography, then I, for one, can be somewhat satisfied that this can be done under what we call a -3 determination with conditions.
Okay.
And the conditions being what I've just discussed, but I'm going to open this up now. Commissioner Varnum?
Could you just clarify for me, please? There is pavement between the two houses, as you
Yes.
just stated.
Yes.
Will you be removing even the part that appears to be over the property line on the other?
Yes, yes.
So part of it will be on the next property, part of it?
Right, as it exists today.
Okay. You said the sidewalk would remain the same, but it seemed that the sidewalk was kind of badly deteriorated. Would you be redoing the sidewalk?
Not at this time, no.
Excuse me?
Not at this time.
So you just take away those loose pieces?
We'll remove the pavement and pave against the existing sidewalk.
You will be repaving the sidewalk?
No, not
You
the,
will
not,
not
that's-
be repaving the sidewalk?
the front sidewalk is concrete, that will stay. We're
Okay,
repaving to that level with the new hot top.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. You have, okay, so the small berm that's at the street is
Yes,
part of the sidewalk?
Yes, it
You won't
is.
be touching that?
yes.
Is that effective in keeping street water from running in there?
Yes, the street is lower than the house and the driveway.
Except when the waters rise?
Well, it has to rise significantly to get up that high, and like we had in '06 and such.
Okay, that answers my questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch?
No additional
All right.
questions.
Just to follow up on one question by Commissioner Varnum, what I think she meant was the sidewalk that's in line with the driveway, not the entire sidewalk.
Yes, I won't be replacing that concrete at all right now.
So you're not going to pave, that will stay in the condition that it's in now?
It's not paved right now.
No, that's what I mean, it's concrete right now.
Yes, it's going to stay in the condition it's in right now.
Okay, because usually when those big, heavy trucks, those 10-wheelers come in,
Oh,
they just obliterate that.
Oh, no, they don't drive over that sidewalk that's along the road.
How are they going to get to
There's no
Port?
sidewalk in front of the driveway at all.
Okay,
The
so it's driveway
meets-
right out to the street?
That's correct, it
Yeah,
meets the road.
Okay, all right. And that's the grades that,
Yes.
yeah, that's the grades that you have to maintain.
I'm pretty much boarded all around the driveway, which sets the grade.
All right, so, Just, since this is just on an RDA, is there anyone here who would like to comment on this? Is there anyone here who would like to offer their comments on this project? Okay, chair seeing none. Okay, as I said, I think we can -3 this with conditions. And one of them being that prior notice and observation and sign off by our office and the conservation officer that the elevations are established.
So just to be clear, when the contractor says he's coming on such and such a day to notify this department, so someone from here shall show up at the site?
Right, you're gonna have to coordinate when the contractor comes out, and it might have to be a two-step process. They might have to come out and stake it in advance, prior to them coming out to pave it. And I know from personal experience with driveway pavers, that can be tough, because they like to just get in, do it, and go.
Right.
But unfortunately, that may be a necessary step.
Right.
In this particular case, because otherwise you're left with having engineered plans and making a full filing, which is not a palatable.
The staking process can be done towards the back of the driveway, where there's soil. Along the two houses, not a problem.
And
Nothing
I'm not
in the
saying,
street.
you could stake it yourself. It doesn't have to be the contractor that does it.
Right,
It's just as long as what's staked is going to remain through the paving process and not get destroyed.
Okay.
So they're not, crushed by the steamroller or whatever
Right,
they use.
right,
And,
right.
okay, just so the elevations can be verified after and that the contractor is aware that they can't go above those elevations.
He's already been made aware of that,
Okay,
yes.
all right, so.
And also the bill of lading, you'd like to have the bill of lading of material in. and
Right,
material
yes.
out.
What came off the site and what came on the site, and those will have to be provided.
Okay,
Okay,
very good,
all right, well, we're not done yet, so,
all right.
yeah.
I move to issue a -3 determination on this proposal with this special conditions that the driveway be staked for elevation before the project begins and checked at the end of the project. That the stake be observed by an employee of the DPD of Lowell before the project commences. That the same elevation and topography be kept as exists there today, and that a bill of lading from each of the two trucks be collected and provided to the DPD, one for the removal truck and one for the incoming truck.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Varnum, seconded by Commissioner Lynch. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Third item on tonight's agenda is request for determination of applicability. Linda Economo. Project location is 349 Clark Road in Lowell, of course, and to construct a garage and driveway at 349 Clark Road. And I have to confess, I don't live too far from here, and I always thought that this neck of the woods was Tewksbury, so.
It's half and half.
I know you're very close, so.
Very, yes. First, I'd like to thank the ladies and gentlemen for allowing me to come here this evening and speak to you about a proposal of putting an addition to my home. And I've had a AHO surveying come out, and I also had an environmental, Norse Environmental to come out to see that, where I stand as far as the wetlands are concerned. This is my first time here, so I'm a little nervous.
Don't be nervous. When I go from smiling to scowling, then you'd be nervous.
Okay.
Now, your entire backyard is lawn, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and then, well, I know you sort of have access down to the Troll Brook watershed there, but who owns that beyond the back before you get into the wet area? Do you know?
Further back from my property?
Yeah.
I believe it's...
Is that the city of Lowell or?
Just the city of Lowell.
City of Lowell. Okay. I know I don't know if the Friends of Lowell High owns some of that. I know there's with the athletic fields back, up on the hill there. I don't know.
It's quite a ways back.
Yeah, well, it's on the other side of the brook, but
Yeah.
yeah. Now, how are you getting access to this? Is it down Albert Street or are you on Woodvale?
Woodville.
You're on Woodvale?
The house faces the legal address is 349 Clark Road.
Right.
But when the house was built
It faces
ages
Wood-
ago,
It faces
the
Woodvale?
contractor turned it so it faced Woodville Lane,
Okay.
the front door.
All right. And you're putting the garage on the existing driveway now?
No, not on an existing driveway. There is a mudroom that's going to be attached to the house. There is a door coming out of the house right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to just have a small mudroom. I think it's like 7 by 7.5 feet. And then have this in addition, which will be a garage downstairs. And then just a floor upstairs, which will be for storage and, perhaps just when the grandchildren come over, stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Place
you
where
have
they
an
can play.
existing driveway back there, though, don't you?
No, there isn't any driveway back there. It's all just fenced in with lawn.
I look at the wrong house. All right.
We do have our cars parked back there, so there is a gate, but when you go back into the gate, it's just lawn, well, and kind of dirt now because of the cars.
All right, you're a pretty good distance from the wetland. As I said, I'm somewhat familiar with that area back there. And honest to God, I think I looked at the wrong place today, but
The yellow house with black shutters?
yeah. As I said, I'm somewhat familiar back there, and we've had a lot of projects through the years, on Windward and up on the hill for the city and the athletic fields and stuff. So it's an area that I'm, and I grew up, as I said, not too far from there on Morningside Drive. So, pretty familiar with that little neck of the woods. But so your front yard is in Tewksbury then? On the Clark Road side, it's in Tewksbury.
Yeah, the front door, looking like this, the front door is in Lowell, but there's a big front yard, and that's all Tewksbury.
But, opposite Clark Road, you're in Lowell.
Opposite,
The Clark Road side's in Tewksbury. And
Yes.
that's why I was confused, because the sign is right there it's like right there, and I'm like, that's in Tewksbury, so.
yeah, it's kind of a,
Yeah, I didn't realize it cut at a diagonal like
I guess
that.
when they did the
I
lands
thought it
back
kind of
then,
ran up behind Windward there, so,
yeah, it zigzags kind of.
yeah, all right, okay. Yeah, I don't, as I said, I looked at the wrong thing this afternoon when I went out there, and from looking at briefly, I looked at your backyard, and the flagging is, way off the back of the lawn areas, so it's certainly something I agree with, so, this is, from the plan, is indicating that it's closest about 87 feet,
A 7.9.
yeah. to the wetland area, to the construction, so, again, that you're in what we call a buffer zone.
Yes.
But to me, it's not likely to impact what you're doing. The only thing I suppose I'd like to see is some straw wattle between your construction area in the back of your yard to isolate any potential. Do you know when you're going to be starting construction? Or when you'd like to?
Well, I wanted, not really, because I wanted to get approval from you folks.
Well, were you planning before the fall or before the finish of the fall or?
I would like to
winter?
have it for the winter.
Right, that's what I figured, so, and, once the ground gets hard, then, especially, you're not gonna be done by the spring, so the siltation barrier is still gonna be there in the spring, and that's, we're going from a hard packed ground so we just wanna keep, any loose construction debris, dust and stuff, mud from migrating backwards into the Troll Brook wet area there, so into that watershed. So that's what I'm discussing. So I didn't see that as part of the thing. So would like to see that. So I don't have anything further, Commissioner Barnum.
In your backyard, do you maintain any area beyond your property line? For instance, does your
no,
lawn
because
extend onto that next property?
There is no next property. Actually, like where the side of the garage, which would be like the side of the garage going back towards the wetland, you go back, or maybe 30 feet, 35, 40 feet, something like that, and then it just all becomes woods.
Oh, so you have a sense that your property line is beyond, somewhere in the woods?
Yes, my property does go
So-
into the woods.
So you're not disturbing any area?
No, we're not even
At
going
your
near
property
that. We're
line.
not going near the woods.
Okay.
This is right up next to the house. And then there'll be a lawn past that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the woods, and then my property goes into the woods until it ends, and then I believe it's just a conservation area of the city of Lowell.
Okay. I don't see anything that alarms me about this plan, seeing it's 87, 88 feet from the wetland area.
Commissioner Lynch?
I don't have anything additional.
All right, Swati, anything from the city? Okay. All right, is there anyone here who'd like to offer their comments or concerns regarding this? Okay. Hearing none. Do I have a motion? I think this can be easily -3. Just with, I'd like to see some siltation barrier, that's all.
I make a motion to offer a -3 determination with a condition that silt fence be installed.
Second.
All right, and I guess, motion by Commissioner Lynch, seconded by Commissioner Varnum, as per way of discussion, just if we get, I would say, what do we usually do, 48-hour notice? Yeah, prior to you doing the work, to starting construction, to notify the Conservation Commission office. I'm assuming you've been in touch with Swati Joseph?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
She was
so-
very, very nice lady.
Yes, she is,
Very
isn't she?
helpful.
She is.
Very, very helpful.
She keeps us friendly, so. And just notify 48 hours in advance, so someone can go out and check the condition of the siltation barrier and just make sure that that's all set and ready to go. Okay? All right.
I want to thank you all very
All
much.
right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. All right, that's it. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you again.
Fourth item on tonight's agenda is also a request for determination of applicability. Andrea DeCico?
The Chico, that was close enough.
Okay. There's too many Cs.
I know.
Project location is 105 Industrial Ave East, and it's tree replanting and landscape maintenance at 105 Industrial Ave East.
So hi, thank you for your time tonight, guys. Here from One Call Facility Services.
And if I could have you identify yourself for the record?
It's Andrea DeChico.
Thank you.
So we're here for a request for a determination of applicability regarding the riverbank maintenance of the existing vegetation that we'd like to continue, and our restoration plan for the replacement of trees that were removed. I brought tonight a small addendum. We did make some changes in some of the plantings that we thought about doing. I don't know if you've had a chance to review them, but
I'm just going to open this up for general. Yeah, I got to look at the addendum. Are these the new, I know I had mentioned it at the prior meeting, are these the new, the elms, are those the new GMO elms?
yeah, we were going to.
Did you guys search those out because of my
We looked
comment?
into it with some of the local nurseries, so there are a few varieties that are now, I think 2011 is when they presented the study, but they've now, I think they have several varieties that are resistant, thankfully. So, yeah, we're interested in
I'd love to see those
pursuing
come
that.
back.
Yeah, they're pretty,
Of course, we all love sycamore trees, so.
yeah. The other changes that we made, nothing major, just we wanted to do sort of a 3-layer plan for ground cover, some medium-sized shrubs, and some evergreen and some deciduous, and then also some larger shrubs. So, yeah, that's to provide variety. We did take some of your ideas from the last meeting in providing some colorful, aesthetically pleasing choices, we hope. With berries for the wildlife.
Now, is there going, in the end, you have a follow-up plan. Is there going to be a further filing?
Well, my concern at this time, obviously, is we're approaching the time of the first frost, potentially. I hate to say it, but we're in kind of a time crunch. I would like to see these plantings prior to, as I put here, October 18th. So my concern, but what we'd like to do is return to the site and proceed with simply pruning and doing some up branching as soon as possible. If we wait 2 weeks, that's going to really throw us off for planting any new trees. So that would be your call, guys. I
Okay,
want to
no-
do it for the,
Yeah, no, I meant with the follow-up, you had indicated benches and seating and stuff.
yeah, that's in the plan. So we've talked to the owners of Cross Point, now Anchorline Partners, and they're excited to put up maybe some benches. We're thinking spring, put some benches along the banks and.
Is that going to be a follow-up filing? That's what my,
Oh, we should file, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
will.
because usually when we see it like this, I don't want there to be a miscommunication
Oh,
that, oh,
yes.
no, we've already established that, and the next thing we know, there's construction going on that we didn't know
No,
anything about.
we'll
so-
certainly file again for
All right.
that.
Right. You're aware of the comments from our office regarding, one-to-one replantings of,
We're doing a minimum of 20. It'll depend on the spacing. Of the trees, we want to go 50 feet apart. But there will be 20 planted.
all right, I don't have anything further. I know Commissioner Varnum's more of our most educated vegetation person. so.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to see this plan, particularly since this came in as an enforcement order, and we were
Yeah.
quite shocked to see everything removed out there. So, this is going to really restore and create a nice area.
It's kind of exciting, actually, to think about changing it, so it's great.
I think we like sycamores and elms, but I'm wondering if perhaps 10 and 10 is maybe a little many of each of those.
Would you like to see a little
And
variation?
perhaps like flowering trees or something, like crab apples or, something with food for birds. and-
Well, that's what we were looking at, the winterberry, blueberry, and the viburnum shrubs. They're larger, they're
Right.
6 to 12 feet. Those guys will provide berries and edible plants, edible food,
okay.
so. But we can vary the trees if that's what you guys would like. I mean, we have other options
I'm just
here.
questioning whether you would even have room for, without taking down what's still left out there, whether you would even have room for 20 large trees like sycamores and
Yeah,
elms.
it's possible. We do, we walked the site, and actually one side, the side closest to the theater, that side of the bank, needs more than the other side does.
Okay.
Because the other side closest to Cross Point seems to, that there's more existing,
Okay.
more existing
I
trees.
like both of those, so I'm
Great.
sure. I've been the victim of a couple of these other plantings, though, on my property. And one is Pachysandra.
Yeah?
I'm not sure that has very much value to wildlife or birds, and it's
Well, it's more for
almost
the
on,
ground cover part.
it's almost on the verge of invasive. It really takes over and kills other things that are in its path.
Well, it can be, I believe. I mean, but it's on my list here. I actually have the buffer handbook plants, and that was one of the ones that our landscape designer had recommended. So, but I could certainly, there's 100 choices I could,
Were you
present.
planning on submitting a plan that would show where these plantings are going to be placed?
we did a general plan, but if you'd like that, I can certainly provide that and send an email out to you guys
I
prior.
think that would be
Yeah, that would be great.
something we'd like to keep on file.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, sure. I mean, one of the things too, I put some alternates there, only because certain things may be difficult to get right now. Some of those plantings, so we wanted to have a few alternates that you guys would approve.
The wisteria, I heard a little
Wisteria
whisper of
can be.
wisteria over here.
No,
I'm
it
having
can
a
be.
tremendous problem with wisteria
There's
at the
certain
moment.
strains that are, there are certain strains that are, and I was careful.
Your nice tall trees could be overcome in a short while with something like that.
No, you're right, that there are certain ones that can be. They're pretty, but,
The witch hazel, that's wonderful, and winterberry's wonderful. These are colorful, things that are going to be colorful. The blueberries in the fall are colorful,
Right.
and, I think in most part, those are good choices.
oh, good,
And,
great, thank you.
I would be curious to see the plan of where they're going.
Yeah, I can certainly send something out, perhaps, I have Swati's email, and maybe
Not
we
really
could-
engineered, but just even something
Yeah, just a
hand-drawn
simple
would be
drawing,
fine.
sure, I love to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
And I like Commissioner Varnum's comment on the crabapple, because that provides fruit all year.
Yeah,
also.
that is
I
a
mean,
good one.
those start to come out, early in the, or late spring, and last the entire summer, so.
It's
yeah.
a good choice. I like it.
Of course, the
Well,
birds
certainly, it
do
is-
wonders of stripping those trees too, but better them than.
They enjoy them.
Commissioner Lynch?
No, I don't have anything additional. I
Thank
think
you.
what Commissioner Barnum had said about the plantings, I'd agree with that.
Great.
That's good.
All right, anything else from the city, Swati?
So does the commission want to address the open enforcement order after the planting has been done?
Yeah, I think we can, well, no, we requested an RDA, this is what we have, they're working with us, I think we can rescind the EO, I don't think it needs to remain open, it's obviously they're working with us, so.
Wonderful.
And it may impact negatively on, for insurance purposes and stuff like, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure that it's not a great thing to have in their chain right now, so, all right. Is there anyone here who'd like to offer their comments or concerns regarding this? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion? I think we can easily -3 this with what we've seen tonight, so.
I move to issue a -3 determination with the request that a planting plan be submitted,
Sure.
and that invasive and bothersome plants not be used, and perhaps some flowering, fruit-bearing trees could be included along
Sure.
with the elms and sycamores.
Great.
By Commissioner Varnum, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Lynch. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. And just, when you're thinking about doing the final beautifications with respect, if you are thinking about putting in benches, picnic table or something like that, or whatnot, seating areas, that's a separate issue
Yeah.
and come back in front of us at
Wonderful.
that
It's
time,
been
okay? All right.
actually a good experience for us in learning. We've learned a little bit about how to proceed with these types of projects moving forward properly. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and do I have a motion to rescind the enforcement order?
I make a motion to rescind the enforcement order.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the
Aye.
ayes have it. All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, moving on to the last item on the agenda, and I believe, I'll call it, is enforcement order continued from a prior hearing. Violation location was 674 Varnum Avenue, and it was with respect to dumping of debris into the floodplain in 100 feet and the 100-foot wetland buffer zone. And we have some substantial compliance from what I understand.
Yes, everything has been removed, all the plastic material, all the construction debris that was left out there, and also a boat. Nobody knows how it reached there, but even that was removed.
Noah's Ark, maybe. Do we, sorry. Do we have, is there any further work that needs to be done?
It is actually pretty well vegetated, so initially we were wondering if there is any opportunity for maybe additional evergreen planting, but it is pretty well established, and with the steepness of the grade, we wouldn't recommend anything further. Both the properties, property owners are now aware on, what the area restricts from in terms of what they can do and what they cannot do.
Okay.
So they both have decided to keep an eye on it, so.
Right, and there's no, and from what I understand, the dumping wasn't something that the landowners did, it
No,
was,
they couldn't have done it because
it was
that
just,
fence is too high and where the material landed is too steep. There's kind of like an culvert coming out, and we checked with the engineers, that's something the city has placed in there for stormwater management purposes.
okay, so, but there's no, what I'm saying is there's no
It's not
no
easily accessible
work
from
being
public.
proposed going forward here. This is just it was an isolated incident, so.
Yes.
All right. I don't have any, Commissioner Varnum, I don't know. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Commissioner Lynch? All right. So we're satisfied then that the site has been restored to its, according to the EO, and no further action needs to be required. So we don't need a filing of an RDA, we don't need an NOI filing here, so, okay. And if the commission's satisfied, then we can lift the enforcement order.
I move to lift the enforcement order at 674 Varnum Avenue.
Okay, and that's a rescission, so do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Under other business, we have a letter from the Mass DEP regarding the Lowell Regional Waste Utility project approval. I know we had some questions here. What is the status of this going forward with the LRW?
I'm actually awaiting a response from them. We just had a shift of, office
Yeah, there's a whole
personnel up
new
there.
administration over there now, isn't there?
But we have definitely informed that they need to inform us that those were some of the conditions as part of the RDA that was issued to them, that there should be, an open communication about status report, because the commission did make it very clear that you would like to be provided updates. So this is, I believe, the first step. I am not aware of anything. I checked with the engineer's office, but I wanted to get back to them after today's meeting to let them know that going forward, this is what we are expecting.
All right, so you haven't heard back then as far as the timeline goes on
No,
their
not yet.
lagoon work and,
No.
all right, so, yeah, would like to keep posted, because that, we are interested in that, we've taken action on it, so. All right, Commissioner Barnum, do you have any questions on this National Grid letter? It wasn't under other business, but what's going on over at the yard?
So they are taking some precautionary measures they would like to protect some of the infrastructure they have there. And what they are trying to do is making sure that this wall will keep the water away from getting or reaching. So it's kind of like, without altering the ground grade, they're trying to set up a perimeter where water will not get into the equipment. And they're making sure that it will kind of flow around it. So they are not altering the topography in any way, or, they're sort of like diverting, like creating it to go around this equipment they have. But we don't have any details other than the photographs about the timber wall. Like, we don't have any elevation information other than that it's entirely on the floodplain. So they are claiming that it will be 3 to 4 feet high walls. So we don't have like the linear footage of the wall to understand what kind of volume, if at all we want to consider that as an impact. We don't know how it is going to be stabilized into the ground. Are we looking at any footings or any such element going into it? So we don't have that kind of information, and usually we seek that out through an RDA process where the commission can give them a determination.
Yeah,
So-
well, from reading their description and seeing these pictures, I was a little unclear, because at one point it sounded like this was going to be at grade or below grade. But then, looking at the pictures, it clearly looks like it's, you know,
It
it's
definitely
3 feet
looks-
above grade.
Yes.
So it's almost like they're making a, you know,
Well, they're hoping because
a
it's
swimming pool, basically, an inverted swimming pool
sort of.
around their substation, so.
Yeah, well, they are hoping because it's considered as a utility project, if the commission would consider a filing not required. Our office would like at least an RDA filing to make sure that enough details are on file.
Yeah,
They-
normally, a utility is exempt from filing in a resource area when, you know, a public utility like this, National Grid, when they're doing, you know, routine maintenance work. For instance, you know, repairing a, you know, a substation, or, you know, doing work that requires, but this to me, sounds like a new activity that wasn't in place before. And I'm a little unclear as to whether or not the timber wall that I'm looking at looks more like it's to protect against flow as opposed to rising floodwaters, but I'm not sure. And if it's the latter, to protect against, to actually like build a dam, then I don't see how that's routine maintenance, because that's taking away flood storage capacity. It's not like they put the substation on a mound and they're replacing the mound with something else, and in the meantime, they're protecting it. This sounds like it's something completely different.
Well, if you refer to the last paragraph, they are considering this to be a temporary feature. They are hoping to find a final solution and then file a notice of intent.
Yeah, temporary.
Don't have a timeline.
For
Yeah.
utilities can be, who knows? I know their position is that's the way they feel, but to be honest with you, that's not the way I'm looking at this. I'm thinking, at least to me, that we need some more detail on this, and at a very minimum, it should be an RDA, but how far below the 100-year elevation are they out there?
Sorry, what was that?
Do we know what the flood elevation is there?
I haven't checked
Okay.
that specifically.
I mean, clearly they're in the floodplain, I know that,
They're
yeah.
entirely within the
Yeah.
floodplain. Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to, we've had activity in that area on the other side of the neighborhood, not, you know, from the other side, not from the National Grid side.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure what their elevation is, where that substation is. But, you know, but looking at the sample pictures that they provided, it looks like it's a fairly, you know, if they came in and dumped dump trucks full and raised the substation up 3 feet, to me, that's not routine maintenance. That's, you know, you're changing things here in a fairly substantial way as far as the floodplain is concerned. So, you know, and to me, if, you know, something like this goes up for 5 years, I mean, the Act doesn't distinguish that. The Act says no one shall bring in fill, and just the fence itself, the barrier itself is fill, never mind the fact that they're basically making a bathtub. which is, the act doesn't allow. And to me, this isn't routine maintenance. This is altering the resource in a significant way. So, my fellow commissioners might not agree with me, but I think we need to see something more substantial as far as a filing goes prior to this going on.
I definitely agree. Just looking at the pictures, I mean, if this is their sample, it looks like it's more than just maintenance. It's fairly substantial, so more information, first of all, would be nice. I mean, they gave us a little overview, but just getting a little more information would be good. But I definitely think that there's going to be some sort of filing for an RDA at the least.
I agree. We don't have any dimensions or any lists of materials or amounts of materials being brought in. I think we need more information.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scale here on the, I'm assuming the red perimeter is their wood fence. And that looks to be a good 80 feet by 80 feet. And if that's 1,600 cubic yards, just off the top of my head. No, 6,400 cubic yards off the top of my head. That is a huge amount of fill. So this is not routine maintenance by any stretch of anyone's imagination. If we didn't do anything, I could see the DEP issuing an enforcement and a cease and desist on this. So, we need to see something more substantial. I mean, this is, the scale at the bottom on the picture is 100 feet. It looks like, 1 inch equals 100 feet, and this looks like it's a good 3/4 of an inch on each side. So, I mean, that would probably be the most fill in a floodplain that we've seen as a commission in 15, 20 years. Okay. All right. Anything else? I know we have a couple things to sign, but nothing else? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Commissioner Lynch, motion by Commissioner Vonum. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it, and good night.